Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you guys like how you can use Postman to test your APIs. So, any further delay, let's get started. So, first you have to create a workspace. Okay, if you already have one workspace, then that is fine. If you don't have, then first create a workspace. Okay, and then what you have to do, you have to create a collection. Okay, so this is my current workspace, that is my workspace. Okay, so here you can create a collection. Okay, you can click on this plus icon, create a blank collection. Okay, and then you can rename it like my col. Okay, so now here first create a collection and then you can add some request. What you can do, you can just click on this plus icon. Okay, now here you can rename your request. Like suppose I want to create a endpoint that I wanted to test, that is a login endpoint. Okay, then you have to choose the HTTP method. Now what are the HTTP methods we have, like put, post, patch, delete, get. Okay, all the HTTP methods you will get here. Okay, then you have to mention the URL or like endpoint. Suppose I am choosing this one because this is for login, right? So for testing any APIs, that can be a public API or can be a private API, right? For APIs mean I am saying protected APIs. This login URL is your public API. Okay, so you can just give the request body. Okay, suppose I am giving this one, have to keep some request payload because it's a post. Then you have to give the request payload and then you have to choose, like, okay, first you have to select this row. Okay, and then you have to select which type of request payload you will give. Like it can be a XML, it can be a JSON. Mainly we use JSON and XML. Yeah, I'm not saying like this takes JavaScript and like HTML is not used. I'm not saying that, but in many cases I have seen we basically used XML or JSON. Okay, so I have one collection already. Okay, with that I will explain you how you can test your APIs. Okay, this is one application I've already created and it is also running actually in the background, so I can test this all the APIs. Login and register is the public APIs. Public APIs mean you no need to provide any authorization. For scheduled email you have to keep some authorization. Okay, means in the headers you have to pass some authorization. Okay, first I'm just giving an example like get request. Okay, so what you will have, you have to select on none. Okay, if you select none, then you will be able to hit this particular API. It's about get, because in the get you are just fetching some data. Okay, so there is no need of giving any body or anything. Okay, and as it is a public API, that's why I'm not giving any authorization here. Okay, or like here. Alright, I think it's clear. So I will explain how you can give authorization headers in your protected APIs. Okay, so I have already explained like this login and register is a public endpoint, so you can just run it. Okay, so basically for my application I am creating one JWT token will be used in your authorization header. Okay, so this is my protected API. How I can confirm this, like in the authorization I am passing some data. Okay, so it's also like environment concept, but for the time being I'm just removing it and I can just put this. Okay, so now I have some body as well. Why I have some body, request body? Why I have? Because it's a post request. So in the post request you have to give some request body, right? It's not in maximum cases you will see, if you have the post, put, patch or like delete this kind of requests, you will see maximum cases you have to give some request payload. Why so? Because it's like modification on the resources, right? So you have to keep some data, like what data you want to modify or like what data you want to do the modification. Okay, that details you have to keep in the request payload or like request body. Request body is also also known as request payload. Okay, and then what kind of data you are giving, like whether it's a text, whether it's a JavaScript, whether it's a JSON or like a XML or like HTML, you can provide according to that. Okay, as I am providing JSON data, that's why I am selecting JSON. Okay, and now about the authorization, how you can keep the authorization. Okay, so basically JWT token, we have to use a bearer token, means you have to select a bearer token in the auth type. In your case, you have to choose according to your preference, or like according to your requirements. If you have anything like basic, or there are so many other options, or two. Okay, but in my case I have to select bearer token. Okay, and then you have to give the token detail. I can send this request, it's giving me invalid token, that is also fine. I will recheck and you can just fix this one. Okay, so I'm just sending it once, and I can just copy this one, right, and I can just paste it here. So I just, okay, now it's code created. Okay, so you have already seen like there is some invalid token error was coming. So how you can avoid it? For that reason, you can create some environments. Like I have so many environments, so like I am taking this one only. So this is my environment. Okay, like token, this is the variable name, type a default, this is, there will be some initial value, there will be some current value. Okay, so this environment you can use in your code. Okay, how and that I will explain now. So instead of this, you can just write token. Okay, and you have to make sure like you are selecting the correct environment, otherwise it won't work. Okay, have to use one script for that. Okay, so like you have to modify this script according to your requirement, or like according to your needs. It's very simple, like you are first checking like whether your status is 200 or not. If it is, then we will just fetching the JSON data, and we are just setting the JSON data to token in our token variable. Okay, that variable is coming from the environment. Okay, if you need this script, then just let me know in the comments section. I'll add this script also in the comments for your reference. Okay, so yeah, this is about how you can give the authorization details. Okay, so but sometime you will also see us also we can give the authorization actually. Okay, here, okay, authorization, and then you can just put the token value. Okay, if don't want to give here, you can just inherit from parent, you can do, and you can just in the headers you can put the authorization, and then the the token you can give. Okay, if you send it will work. Basically why it is giving me this error, because my application is not configured that way, that's why it is giving me this error. Otherwise it will not give you any error. Okay, so in the headers also you can keep the authorization details. Okay, and authorization you have to put like inherit auth from parent. Okay, that will also work. So environment setup also, I can just quickly explain you. Like you can just click on the new plus icon. Okay, and you can just create like my env. Okay, my environment, and here you can put your values according to your your needs, and then the initial values and the current value you can keep. Okay, and then from this bar you have to select your environment. Okay, I think it's also clear. So yeah, so last but not the least, I'm just explaining one more thing, like how you can do import and export. Okay, so suppose you want to import some collection, how you can do it? So I'm just for the reference purpose, I'm just exporting my existing collection only, because I don't have any existing collection now. First I'm the exporting this one. Okay, export as JSON. Okay, in the desktop I think I can do. So I'm just saving it. Okay, so your collection was exported successfully. So now you can just import, and you can just import this as a file. Okay, if you remember in the desktop I have saved it. Okay, So now you can just choose this one, my call.postman underscore collection.json, and you can just open it and open import as a copy, and it will be imported. Okay, this is how you can import and export the things. Okay, so just wanted to explain you. Sometime you will see like you have to pass them request param. Although here also you can pass something this one, you can just equals to 5 6. I'm just giving an example. Okay, so if you see in the param section, this code added. Okay, this request param URL. Okay, this is something like query params, right? You need to know the difference between the path param and the query param. Okay, although this is not a valid URL, but I'm just giving you an example. Suppose I'm giving you some ID here. So this 23 is the path variable, right? This 23 is the path variable that can be changed. Like it can be 23, it can be 24, it can be 26, and anything. It can be anything. Okay, so you can keep that path variable in the URL only. Sometimes you have to give query params also, right? If you remember, right? So in the in the question mark, then you have to keep some value. So if you don't want to keep this way, you can also the first option is that you can give in that particular URL only, like DFG, although it's not a valid every time I'm telling the same thing, but yeah. So this is like the variable name, and then it's the value. Okay, you can just deselect it as well. Okay, these will be removed, but you can actually add some query from this param tab also. Like suppose I am giving the anything, you can like ID, and then the value is like 56. Okay, okay. Oh, this is how you can keep the query params. Okay, and path variable is also easy. Even sometime if you see, sometime you can even keep some queries as well, like query it will be reflected in a particular URL also. Okay, means you can write from here as well in the URL itself, or you can use this param tab and you can just put the query params. So before finishing this video, I just wanted to cover one more topic very quickly, that is content type and accept. Okay, so in the headers you can provide content type and accept, right? So in the content type, what you can give? You can give the type of data you want in your request payload. Suppose in my case, I want JSON type of data in my request payload or like request body. That's why in the headers, you can provide, in the content type, you can provide application/JSON. Okay. In the accept, it means that what kind of data you are expecting as the response, right? So I am expecting JSON type of response, right? That's why you can specify JSON in the accept. Okay, so now you can just save it and you can just send this request. Okay, and it's working successfully. Yeah, that's fine. So this is one more topic I just wanted to cover. So you have content type and accept. In the content type, if you are providing JSON, it means you are expecting JSON type of data in a request payload. Okay, in the accept, if you are providing application JSON, it means that you are expecting JSON data in the response. Okay, these two concepts are very important. Okay, so quick recap, you can first create a collection, and in that particular collection you can create the requests. Okay, and the request can be post, put, patch and delete. Okay, and if you have put, patch, post, delete, mostly we will use some request payload in that case, and in the get we most probably do not provide any request payload. Okay, and also in your protected APIs you have to provide authorization. It can be you can provide the authorization in the headers, or you can provide the authorization in this authorization tab separately, you can provide. Okay, also if you want to provide some request params, then you can use this params tab, and you can just provide the key. In the key you can provide what kind of value you are expecting, and in the value you can provide what kind of data you are expecting like 2 3 4 5, like you are, in the params you are providing some IDs, like the ID can be 1 2 3 4 and all. So here you, in the key you can provide the ID, in the value you can provide some IDs, right? So these are some, like, params. And also you can export and import any collection. Okay, we have this option to export and import. Okay, and also we can have our own environment. We can just create one environment from our with this plus icon, like create new environment. You can create your own environment as well. So I think yeah, pretty much from this video. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you have any doubts, any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I'll happy to answer. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. And if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you. Bye bye.